Hello, I am Vitold, and now I will show you very precisely what 5 things Ducati Multistrada 1260 and all its variants do better than BMW R 1250 GS. And yes, I am not bluffing, because there are things that this Ducati is simply better in. So let's go ahead and start. And the first thing is Ducati demolishing BMW with its power and performance. And let's play a game of numbers here, as that explains a lot. So BMW R 1250 GS has 136 horsepower and 143 Newton meters, which is a lot, even though it's a big bike. The thing is that Ducati Multistrada has plenty more, while it's also lighter. At least in the 1260 version. The Enduro version is a bit heavier, but then you have BMW GS Adventure. It's got 158 horsepower or crazy, staggering 170 horsepower in the V4 variant. And then 130 Newton meters in 1260 and, why is that? But 125 Newton meters in the more powerful V4 version. So yes, somehow the 4-cylinder variant has less torque despite having more power. So anyhow, if you push these bikes, both Multistradas will perform better in the meaning of being quicker than a GS. And that's especially true in a straight line or on a racetrack, because that's where you keep those bikes very close to the red line and the higher revs. So the power difference is really large, and BMW could not win this one. GS may be a bit smoother in power delivery, but it's the Ducati that feels more ready to race. Let me quote KTM here. So it feels more ready to race than GS. GS, with its engine that behaves more like a diesel engine, it likes to stick to lower RPMs, and simply Multistrada could not win this one. And the second point, which I don't think it can lose this one either. So Multistrada will help you get more looks and pick up young chicks on the street. It will be better at it than a GS. Of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but even the word Ducati sounds a bit cooler than BMW, right? But seriously, in terms of being pretty, most people pick Multistrada as a winner over the BMW R 1250 GS. It is a matter of personal taste, but if majority says that the Ducati is prettier, then I guess we have to say it is. In my opinion, it's more pretty too, which doesn't mean that it's looking more badass, because I don't think it has. It also doesn't mean that the GS doesn't lack character, which it doesn't. In fact, it's more like the opposite. The third thing is that Ducati's engine and exhaust sound so much better. Shouldn't even stand next to BMW's clunky sounding boxer engine. And I'm very critical about this one, since I love it when a bike's engine produces a beautiful deep sound of a thunderstorm. Even a stock Multistrada would sound in a more enjoyable way than the GS, even with any kind of aftermarket exhaust. Fourth very interesting thing is that Multistrada in the V4 variant can have active cruise control, while BMW R 1250 GS cannot have that. It cannot have that yet, however. BMW have developed this kind of feature for its bikes, but it's not there yet in R 1250 GS. It is a system also brought straight from passenger cars, which allows you to set desired speed using cruise control. And what is new now is that you may also set a specific distance from a vehicle in front of you and have the bike use its throttle and up to some point also brake to keep that distance. So if you're riding a group on a highway and you are following another rider, you set certain speed a little bit above what you're currently riding at, and you also set the distance that you want to keep between you and the bike in front of you, or whoever else is in front of you. Now your Multistrada will do what is needed to keep that distance in order for you to have that covered and stay even more safe, especially during long journeys. When we get bored, start looking around, it doesn't mean that we can do that and stay distracted and look around because the bike will keep the distance, because at some critical points it may not be able to do that, just as it's not allowed to fully use the brakes for safety reasons. So anyway, Ducati just got that right, and they have added it while BMW are still waiting to equip the R 1250 GS with it. So same story with blind spot warning, using another radar, this time in the back. So Ducati managed to install one more radar in the back of the bike, which is monitoring what is behind you, and that will be warning us about vehicles approaching us from the back, on the left and right behind us. So point for Ducati here, definitely. And also, Ducati was the first to introduce adaptive front LED light that takes care of covering curves properly with its light. So if you turn left, it's shining more to the left. You're turning and leaning right, it's covering the right side. So we definitely have to give it to Ducati because they just managed to develop something before BMW. Now the fifth one, and that's gonna be a bomb that will explode your mind. And I'm not going to talk about prices because Multistrada is more expensive. BMW is not cheap at all, and this is something I should mention here. Where am I going with this? These two bikes are expensive to the point that only the most fortunate of us may afford either of them. Now take a look around, like literally look around. Just stick your head outside of the window and start counting motorcycles that are passing on the closest streets. I apologize, but I'm not going to do that for you as it is winter here now, so I would have to wait a few months with my head out until some motorcycles appear on the streets. But you do that experiment, and I'm pretty certain that you will count many more BMW GSs than Ducati Multistradas. And believe it or not, BMW R1250 GS along with R1200 GS, that looks almost the same, are crazily popular motorcycles. Good for BMW. Thing is, everyone rides a GS. If they don't do now, they will do after getting 40 or after they get a divorce. Multistrada is simply not as common on the streets, and that may be a surprisingly big thing for some of you. Do you want to be an ordinary guy riding the best bike in the world and be forgotten in the crowd, or do you prefer to get the chicks jumping all over you when you stop at a traffic light? So I know my answer. And what is yours here? Please let me know in the comments. Yeah, please do. And the sixth point, I thought really long about what could be the sixth point, and I really cannot find any. The last one is pretty strong, I would say. But let me tell you that I found a few more things that the BMW R1250 GS is doing better when being compared to Multistrada. So I suggest that now you go ahead and watch that video, because the link is there for you in the description already. But before you do that, let me tell you that both of these bikes are brilliant. They really are. And they're also much different, in fact. You won't be disappointed by getting either of them. They both have their strong points and their advantages over the other one, and both have some disadvantages when being compared to each other. Now, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more honest motorcycle videos. See you in the next one.